If I had a dollar for any time somebody reached out to me or reached out to someone that I know and just asked the simple question of, hey, how do I get started in the music industry? I would be very rich. I would probably have 4 of these Steinways in my house. So I thought this would be a good time for some honest conversation. And hey, if you don't know me and you're new here, my name is Luke. I'm an audio engineer, songwriter, and producer. I've had a, I guess, sort of successful career as far as all 3 of those things go. As an engineer, I have platinum plaques. I've produced some amazing music with some amazing people, and I've also written songs that are in movies, television shows, and things like that as a singer and lyric writer, so I'm spread pretty evenly kind of across the board. But yeah, my story and my path is a little bit unique, and I do have a video, I'll link that in the description below, where I kind of just go over how everything kind of came to be for me. So going back now on how I would answer the question of like, hey, how do I get started as a engineer, producer, or a songwriter, or even an artist in 2025? And really there's no like shortcut, there's no path. And I think a lot of the truth that's out there is like, yes, you have to be prepared, and then that's when you can capitalize on the opportunities that come towards you. But in my opinion, the step that everyone misses is the preparation step isn't just like asking somebody, hey, how can I get set up to be successful? Although maybe sometimes that does help. I think the preparation comes from process, and I am absolutely not the type of person who has that like the boomer mentality where it's like, I used to walk 3 miles uphill to school and then 3 miles uphill home, even though that makes no freaking sense, right? I still think that there are a kind of a bare minimum of like dues that you would expect out of somebody who has the discipline to be successful in this industry. And what I mean by that is the preparation, as using engineering as an example, being fast and being proficient as an engineer only comes from working fast and proficient as an engineer, which is a skill that you learn over time from just engineering a shit ton, right? And same goes for songs. Like when people ask, how do I get started in songwriting? You have to write the songs. There's maybe some online resources that can help you kind of get an idea of how to tap into your like songwriting self, but there's absolutely nothing out there that is going to help you transcend as a songwriter and instantly have a career. So maybe this is cynical of me to think, but I think when a lot of people are asking, you know, hey, how do I get started? What they're asking is, hey, how do I get that quarter that I can put in that magic, dispenser machine that dispenses the little orb and you open it up and your music career is waiting for you, right? So no, I don't think that there is really a shortcut. There's kind of one long road with few exceptions. And really the way I see it is how fast you travel that road is totally up to you and your discipline and your dedication. So I want to talk about that a little bit. So the music industry, as well as a million other industries, are super oversaturated with people who say things. They say they are things. They say, I'm a music producer, right? They say, I'm a songwriter. They say, I'm an engineer. And then when you ask them to hear their work, they're like, yeah, I don't really have anything out there yet. And I understand everybody starts somewhere, right? But it's really, really important that you understand that before you start to run down that long road, you better be walking, you better be engineering, you better be writing songs, you better be producing records. It's the only way to get better at it. It's the only way to build your network with people who really like you for your work and not just you as a person, which is a whole nother side of it, right? And the only honest way to make it in the music industry, in my opinion, in 2025, is to show up every single time, give it your all from the very beginning. You have to deal with failure, you have to deal with financial hardship, you have to be ready for all of these things. And I understand that people come in to the music industry at different points in their life and with different backgrounds, and some people are more fortunate than others, and that's totally okay. We all have seen the story of the underdog, the person who sat with just their laptop and wrote the songs and became a multi-platinum producer or Grammy winner, and it all started from that one really shitty $200 laptop, right? And that's proof that you just need to do the thing. Here's the thing, I lived in LA for a long time, and there are definitely some stereotypes about how many people say they do things but don't actually do them. And I will 100% say that a lot of that is real. A lot of those kind of stereotypes of people being like, yes, I'm a music producer, and then they, maybe make a beat every 6 months, or, we all know those people, right? The thing is if you show up and you do the thing, you rise above about 99% of the industry, and I mean that. The amount of people that are willing to show up and do the work is a lot less than you'd probably think it would be based on how loud everyone is about what they do on the internet, right? So for me, I owe all of my success to taking risks and showing up to sessions and doing free sessions and just trying to really hone in on my craft. And that's a huge part of it, is just kind of understanding that in the beginning, you might have to produce and collaborate with your local artists 100 times or 1,000 times before you get your first big cut. You might have to engineer for free or for $10 an hour or whatever it may be, or intern at a studio to get your first opportunity to be in a room with an artist that has, a notable record come out. These things kind of transcend like outside of the creative industry, and I think that if you're willing to show up and you're willing to do the thing, you are already ahead of so many people in the music industry, and I mean that. So many people won't show up. And then the next thing that I want to talk about is the fact that you need to obsess over this. You need to dream about this. You need to watch YouTube videos in your downtime. You need to be doing this in your downtime, whatever it may be, right? This is a realization, I don't know if it came with like maturity and age or what the deal was, but just a little bit of a story time here. My first college experience was for IT, networking and computer science specifically. It's something that I thought I was passionate about. I love computers, I love technology, but I kind of got to the bottom of it, and I think I was in it for the wrong reasons. I knew that it was a high-paying job. I knew that there was a lot of like accolades that you could get, security clearance, things like that, and it all just seemed cool. It was like a glorified like movie character moment, I guess I had when I made the decision to actually go to school for that. And I realized once I was doing it that I was doing it, but I wasn't giving it my all. I was giving it the bare minimum because I just wanted to get through school, because I thought just getting through was going to be good enough to put me in that crowd where I'm making the money, I've got all these clearances and all this stuff, right? And mind you, I was a musician on the side. And then afterwards, some people aren't about the music school, and I totally get that. I decided I wanted to go to school for something that I was passionate about, and that thing was music. So I went out to LA and I went to college for music at the LA Recording School, which in my opinion, they are a for-profit school. I feel like I owe a lot to that school as far as where I am today, and for a couple of reasons. Because I think, more personal reasons, I think I kind of found myself as a person and realized like, hey, going to school and being forced to be creative every day, not forced, but you know what I mean, like having an obligation, right, to be creative every day, and being around people with like-minded interests and actually doing something that I was passionate about. I went to school for music production and audio engineering, both of which I was very, very passionate about. And even in music school, you still have the people who aren't about it, right? I was so surprised when in a class of 16 people on really crucial test days at noon, not even like early in the morning, 40% of the class wouldn't show up. And I don't think that has anything to do with anything besides just the lack of genuine interest to put in the work. And no offense to those people, I really hope that they have really great careers, and maybe that they were, just in an earlier stage in their life, because I'm not some wise guru, but at that point in my life, I kind of felt enlightened. I was like, no, listen, I am showing up, I have a 4.0 GPA, I'm enjoying this, I go home and I'm excited to do the work. It really made me realize that if you love something enough, you are going to be willing to do whatever it takes to excel, whether it be in your downtime, you're watching YouTube videos, practicing, or recording artists through the late hours of the night. I've done it all. And I think that really all of those things contributed to my early career success. I mean, I worked on a record that went platinum months after graduating college. Like, it was quick. So to wrap that topic, you need to show up to one thing like you're gonna show up to everything, right? The artist that you show up with who has 1,000 streams on Spotify, and you work with them and you make an amazing record and you're invested in it and they see that you're invested in it, word gets out, okay? People will start to mess with you and you will eventually start getting more business and eventually start climbing up the ladder. No amount of cold DMing someone at the beginning of your career and being like, hey, I made a beat, is probably gonna be super fruitful, just being totally honest. Another thing I want to talk about is relationships, because this is one that everyone kind of knows, and people always think that relationships and how you grow your career is strictly around just like networking. And I think the misconception about networking nowadays is people think like, oh yeah, like if I email Drake's manager with a couple SoundCloud links to my beats, he might actually listen to them, he might cut them. Yes, like that's totally possible. Like I said, there are very few exceptions to that long road, but I think you have a much, much higher chance, probably 1,000,000 times higher chance if you just climb the ladder by working with a lot of people and being likable, making good records. People enjoy being around you, enjoy creating with you, because if you are somebody who is not easy to create with, whether it be like creative ego or you're just rude or whatever it may be, you're gonna have a very short career. I will say that. But yeah, I yapped on for way too long. If you want a music career, whether it be engineering or songwriting or producing or just being an artist in 2025, you need to do it and you need to do it a lot. And just as a side note, someone said this to me a couple of years ago and it really resonated with me. Done is better than perfect. A lot of artists will never release a song because they feel like it's never perfect. And yeah, done is better than perfect. Get your songs out there. There's plenty of quotes out there from a ton of successful artists that say songs that live on your hard drive will never do anything. And it's obviously very true. And think of the same thing with your time. If you're an engineer or you're a producer, if you're not spending your time engineering or producing, then you likely don't have an opportunity to become any of those in the really competitive music industry here. So do the thing, do it 5,000 times, be likable, be obsessed with your craft. Always try to get better, always try to encourage the others around you to get better, and hang out with people who are like-minded and are also really talented. Record your friends, write with your friends, produce for your friends, and you will be setting yourself up for an amazing career. You really will. I hope this video was helpful. I yapped on for so long. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. I usually do like gear related content, but I just wanted to kind of talk about this one. But yeah, I appreciate you guys watching and I will see you guys in the next video. See ya.